All aboard and welcome to our podcast, GoddeSShips. Tonight's episode is Oscarships, the slap heard around the world. Will Smith and Chris Rock's Oscars. All right. Hey there, ma'am.
Hey, just call me technical difficulties. I don't know what the heck going on.
Not call you technical difficulties. Angela Worthy said, hey.
What's going on, sis?
All right. For those of you who are returning, thank you for your continued support and welcome back. And for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. Goddesses and gods, please remember that we are available wherever you listen to your podcast, and you can always watch us here on YouTube. I am Keely, the Soul Snatching Goddess.
And I am Melinda, the FACKTgoddess, F.A.C.K.T. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. We want you to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast and bang the notification bell so you will be one of the first people to be notified when we have new episodes.
Hello, world. I'm FloydGod.
All right, and some quick shirt cam. All right, let's see. So let me big myself up. Mine is in honor tonight. I don't push issues, just buttons. Because apparently, Chris pushed a button. Anybody else got some shirt cam?
I don't have any words. I just have a symbol.
Do you want to present it?
Sure.
All right, big you up, girl.
Instead of an S on my chest, it's a TC, Telfar.
All right. That black one,
Representing the
right?
black designers.
Yes. All right. Well, tonight our male is taking the reins because we talking about a topic that happened between two men. So, FloydGod, you can go and take it on away.
All right. Well, apparently, this is a trending topic today, or was rather last night. As everyone well knows, the Oscars came on last night. There was a situation where Chris Rock was doing his monologue, doing what comedians do, crack jokes. And Will Smith decided to not only laugh at the joke, but then got in his feelings, got up, and he physically assaulted the brother, and then basically, in my opinion, tried to clean it up in his acceptance speech. And he, in my opinion, disrespectfully tried to tie himself in with Richard Williams, which is Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father. Um, so I'm just gonna say, first and foremost, and y'all feel how you want to feel. You didn't have that same energy when the young man had your wife stretched out. You know, you didn't smack him. So I thought that was an issue first and foremost. There's been this narrative going around social media about protecting the black woman, and this is how you protect the black woman. And I want to say that I think a lot of people who have been chiming in on that have a very skewed view of that. And I think it's very important that we need to talk about what is the true definition of protecting the black woman, because in order for you to protect the black woman, it's a hand to hand thing. Like, the woman has to be cognizant of the man, because protecting the black woman comes with consequences and repercussions. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people need to understand as well that real Will Smith is a rich man, and so is Chris Rock. So your average everyday brother can't just do that without no consequences and repercussions. And so I'm trying to get all my thoughts out as I can. I think it was a real issue, that we have this narrative that you're supposed to make an ass out of yourself. I think the brother made an ass out of himself. You know, protecting the black woman, you still have a responsibility to your people. So he should have pulled that brother to the side after the show or during the break and checked them, or whatever the case was going to be. You don't do that on live television, especially not in front of them people. You understand what I'm saying? Because it makes you look like a minstrel show. But that's just my opinion. Um, Also, getting back to the narrative about protecting the black woman, I think we need to understand exactly what that means. Like, of course, if I'm married, I'm not gonna let somebody disrespect my lady. Like, I'm not gonna do that. My lady, my wife, whatever the case may be. but this is entertainment, and I think we live in a very sensitive world where we are starting to skew the lines between comedy and disrespect. And I just feel like all of that was unwarranted. It was uncalled for. I think Will Smith made an ass out of himself. I think he made himself look bad. Also, when he gave his acceptance speech, he tried to correlate himself with Richard Williams. Now, I'm not saying Richard Williams was a saint because he was a bit abusive in his own way. But Richard Williams took two sisters out the hood, which was his daughters, and put them in the sport that changed history, changed everything. You know, you can't correlate what you did that night with what Richard Williams did and say you're the angry black father. No, bro, you're not. You're an idiot. You're a fucking, excuse me, you're an idiot. And you disrespected a lot of people. You disrespected us. It's always us against us. Not only that, the last night's Oscars was actually produced by a brother. So, this is supposed to be a big night, and this is what has been talked. This is what's been talked about. This whole, assault, so to speak. So I give a lot of big ups and props to Chris Rock for not pressing charges and for not retaliating. You know what I mean? I think he showed a lot of class, but then again, Chris Rock does go to the Dick Gregory School of Thought. Rest in peace, Dick Gregory, but that's another conversation. So I'll fall back right there. I got some other comments, but I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna fall back so the ladies can chime in, and I'm gonna leave it there for now.
Okay. So before we do that, we got a couple of comments because it's going off over here. So let me get to them. Let me go up. So, I gotta scroll back up. They give me. Wait a minute. All right. So, we got the ones that said hi. So Simone said hi. Nunu said hi. Tiffany said hand clap.
Hey, Tiff.
Black Sheep Swan said he was a bully.
Bill?
If Steve Harvey or The Rock would have said it, different story.
That is true. That is true. If Jimmy Fallon would have said that, you wouldn't have jumped up and smacked that white boy in his face.
Then Black Sheep Swan also said he was laughing until he saw her face.
That is true as well.
Izzy did two hand claps to what you was saying.
What's up, Izzy?
Atherton West J Media said, yeah, what it was supposed to be Floyd said.
Right on.
Nunu said black on black crime. Black Sheep Swan said, yeah, but he left one in the hood too. Nunu said Chris definitely held it together. And Black Sheep Swan said, I'm Mike Bizzle.
Mike Bizzle. That's my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Mike Bizzle. Mike Bizzle.
Well, Fat Goddess, do you want to address first?
It doesn't matter.
Well, go ahead, man.
So I'm all over the place with it. I feel one way 1 second, then I feel another way another second. So one thing that I was trying to find was because I follow Jada on different platforms, just mainly because I'm nosy. It's a bunch of different celebrities I follow just because I'm nosy. Everybody that know me know I'm nosy. So I follow her on the Red Table Talk piece. I follow her on Instagram, and I'm not sure if I follow her on Facebook. But since we decided this was going to be our topic tonight, I started trying to find when she first cut her hair off and whether or not she said she had alopecia. That's where I wanted to start. I haven't found that yet where she said she had it.
She said it in December of last year, and she also uploaded an Instagram video where she said it when she cut her hair, and she showed like where it was starting to there's a line in her head. Okay. Where she was showing that it was starting to fall out.
She made it public knowledge.
Yeah, she did. And she said she wanted to make sure to say it because that line looked like where if you had surgery, and she was like, I don't want the rumors to start that I possibly had brain surgery, so I'm going to address it now.
Okay. So when she first cut her hair, she didn't say it because she cut her hair in May of last year.
I don't know.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that because I had started from when she first cut her hair, and her comment was
Willow made her do it.
Yeah. So I was like, well, where did she talk about alopecia?
Yeah.
So I'm not well versed on alopecia. Like I haven't done any research or anything on it. But as far as I know, it's not deadly. It's
No.
more associated with hair loss. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure I'm right on that.
And for some people, it's worse than others. It can be look very patchy,
Mm-hmm.
to where they may have like a long set, and then all of this is like bald, like a hand set, and so it looks really not. It just looks weird. That's it.
It's hair loss.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's
It's just hair
basically
loss.
hair loss.
This is
Yeah.
basically hair loss. It can happen.
So
Yeah.
my other question is, I need to clarify these things before I make my comments. G.I. Jane, I did not see.
Okay.
So I'm lost in the sauce with that joke. Did she play the first G.I. Jane?
No.
G.I. Jane was Demi Moore.
Yes.
And
And
G.I.
she was
Jane,
bald.
G.I. and the
No. She
role,
was.
yeah, and she
She
shaved
went
her head for
in.
the role.
Yeah, no, she went in the beginning of the role. She was a woman that wanted to be in a specific part of the military, and it was male dominated. They wanted her to ring the bell and be out, and she got like captured and all of this other stuff. She found out some stuff, so she ended up shaving her head bald.
Okay.
To appear more manly, less womanly, because they were saying she was a liability for the males, because they were going to feel bad for her if she was captured and they were torturing her, opposed to if they captured their male counterparts and was torturing them, and they would give up information quicker for her than they would for a male.
Okay.
So she was fighting against all of that, and she shaved her head for that.
So
yeah,
his comment about I'll see you in G.I. Jane 2 would be reference to her being bald.
Yes.
Not the alopecia.
No.
Right, just being bald.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
From the movie.
Because I was asleep and a bunch of people were sending me the, texts and alerts about what had happened last night. Because I really don't care nothing about the Oscars either way, as far as that goes. My thing is about the incident. But I was like, but he's a comedian, and everybody knows when you're in the front row, you're gonna get it. It don't matter if you at the Oscars or at a comedy club. If you in the front row, you're gonna get it. So there was a celebrity R&B singer who hopped on. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm sorry, gospel singer who hopped on his live and said he agreed with what Will did, and he was like, I know. He said, I know people that are pro-black and people that are, it was some other category he put people in, but he said they were going to, he said devout Christians were going to disagree with what he was saying. He was like, but at some point you have to draw the line. And he was kind of like in his feelings, and he was like, what if your wife had cancer? And somebody was making jokes about her having cancer. So I was then like, well, what? Alopecia isn't deadly, is it? I thought it just was about hair loss. So I kind of got off of that clip, and then I got on Roland Martin's clip, and he wasn't really commenting either way. He just was like, well, it happened, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't for or against, so to speak. But I guess for me, I agree with Floyd. You could have waited and pulled him to the side and did what you had to do instead of broadcasting that on national TV. And so since I've watched it, I kind of dissected it. And I'm like, he was indeed laughing, because I spoke to a couple of my male co-workers this morning and asked them how they felt about it. One of them said that these are both black males, by the way. One of them said that Will was wrong and that he could have handled it differently. And he pretty much was like, he could have waited till a commercial break after the show some other time to pull him to the side and be like, look, man, I know you're a comedian, but you crossed the line. And so the other one, he didn't see the clip. He was going off of what he heard other people saying and what his wife said. And he was like, he feels like it's bigger than that one comment. He said, because what I'm interpreting as him laughing is him like, oh, I know this MF didn't. I didn't already told him. And so I was like, let me stop you there, because I did see the clip and it was not that type of interpretation. I said he was laughing. Then he looked over at his wife and saw that she was not. He paused, stopped laughing, got up and walked up there, smacked fire from Chris Rock. I said he even hesitated before he smacked him. I said, even though he walked up to him, he kind of paused for a quick second. Then he smacked him, and then he kind of waited to see what Chris was going to do, turn around and walk back. I said, but he's a comedian. You're sitting in the front row. Everybody pretty much knew you was a shoo-in to get the Oscar this time because you've been passed so many times. And why we keep wanting the Caucasians to validate us is beyond me. But at any rate, it was so cowardly to me. And I don't feel like it was a matter of him defending a black woman, because I am a black woman, and I don't think that was the scenario. I don't think it was about he needed to defend Jada. She just was pissed because she was the butt end of the joke. But it was about you being bald. It wasn't about the cause of your baldness. So that's what threw me off. I was like, what, is alopecia deadly and I don't know about it or something? That's how I was feeling when everybody was in such an uproar about Will should have done it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let you talk. I got some other stuff later too. Like
okay, and we got a few other comments quickly before me. So Simone said, if Will should have known better than to not slap a bruh in front of the white audience, does Chris have any responsibility, I guess, to his people to not disrespect or embarrass a black person in front of that white audience?
See, look, listen. This is what's important to understand about this situation. He is a comedian.
that's what
Like, but let's because I'm gonna break all this shit down for you. First of all, they're sitting in the front row. So anyone who sits in the front row at the Oscars, and people who watch the Oscars and know the history of it, the person who's giving the monologue, the host, especially if he is a comedian, he's gonna give it to the people in the front row. He's done it every single year. They've been in the front row almost every single year, according to what I understand, because I don't really be watching this. But it was a joke about her being bald. It was not about her having alopecia. He was making a joke about her being bald and the correlation with Demi Moore in the movie G.I. Jane. When I
yes.
first seen it and I heard the joke, I was like, all right, he went in on a bald head like G.I. Jane. But at the same time, it's like, okay, that's 20, 30 million for you, because it could be a G.I. Jane too, and you could be it since y'all $20, $30 million motherfuckers. I thought it was a joke. I felt it was a joke. I don't think that he went out of his way to try to disrespect her. And let me just go here too. While Will Smith up there smacking folks, when he walked back, the woman that he defended, she didn't touch him. She didn't
Show
grab his
didn't.
hand. She didn't
She
show
sure
him no
didn't.
type of consolation, no type of love, or none of that shit. That's first and foremost. Second of all, a real sister who know her man about to do some dumb shit, and I
Gonna stop
underline
him.
the word real sister, gonna grab her man. Hold on, dog. Hold on, baby. We gonna move. Wait till after the show. We probably would have heard, well, Will Smith, what Chris
I'm
Rock
with you when
asked
you're
at the
right.
show, something like that. We would
So
have heard something.
do y'all think she knew that Will was that type of
Come
to get
on,
up and go
man.
slap somebody though?
Yeah, to get up and go slap Chris Rock, that ain't gonna do nothing back.
All you got to do is watch it. Once he started raising up, think about your own self. Y'all
Yeah.
sisters, y'all real sisters. It's people who are on the show right now in the comments who got significant others that you've been with for a long time. You know your mate. So you
Okay,
know.
so this is the only reason that I asked that question is because he initially giggled in the
Right,
sit back until he looked at her and saw that she did the whole and
right,
even Chris Rock acknowledged that he was like, come on y'all, that was a good one, because
right,
everybody realized and saw her. It wasn't about the joke. Everybody saw her reaction to the joke.
right. But I
And everybody not laughed at that point because they was like, oh shit, she felt offended. She didn't find it funny.
but people who understand comedy understood where he was coming from.
Oh, of
So
course,
yeah,
I
so
did.
yeah, so fine. Will Smith laughed. Then he looked at his wife and he reacted. It's
And what
still
I'm saying is, so at that point when he laughed, even though he looked at her and saw she was disappointed, he stopped laughing. But do you think she felt like it was in him to get up and go and slap that man?
when he raised up and started walking. It don't matter if she didn't realize it till he was halfway to him. A real sister gonna stop her man, understanding what's going on in the moment, understanding your mate. Any person that's listening to this show right now that has a significant other that they have been with for a long time knows when their significant other is going to make certain moves and do stuff. And they're going to stop that person to keep them from doing something that has consequences and repercussions. So, and another thing I want to say to that bullshit excuse me, I love Denzel Washington. On the biggest night of your life, the devil ain't had nothing to do with that shit. And then he gonna get up there and talk about protecting the black woman. Was you protecting the black woman when you was on Red Table Talk, listening to your wife talking about how this young mob was digging her ass out? Was you protecting the black woman then? Was you protecting the black woman when your daughter was sitting up talking about how they watch porn with their mama and their grandmama and that type of shit? Was you protecting the black woman then? This some bullshit. He was out of pocket for that. He was so out of pocket for that. And it just made, and I ain't trying to say like we supposed to be a certain way in front of those folks. You know what I'm saying? But this was a particular night. And it was other people like Sam Jackson finally got an award. And there's no like light on this brother who's been in the game forever because of the stuff that he did. And then you have the audacity to try to correlate your situation with Richard Williams. You and his story are not the same, bro. Your wife should have stopped you. You should have stopped yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I get it. I hear you. I completely hear you.
That girl's alopecia. And I again, anyone who suffers from alopecia, I am not insensitive to your pain. I am not insensitive to what you go through. God bless you. I pray for you. I love you. I don't have nothing against that. I don't think it's right, but it's not something that she's dying from. I can see if she had stage 3 cancer, he was like, ha, chemo, bitch. Yeah, I probably would have went up there and done some shit, or I probably would have called him outside or something like that. But he wasn't even talking about alopecia. He was talking about her being bald and correlating it to a movie. Like, I think people allow the internet and media to stimulate or change their perspective instead of just sitting back and looking at it for what it is. But it's all right. I'm my fault. I'm gonna try to go on the
I get it. All right. So Black Street Swan said the forgotten daughter was left in the hood, was what he was saying up above.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's what it's about.
And Simone was saying she had to abbreviate to save some characters, but I got you. You was good. Nunu said, me too, Melinda. I'm all over the place with it too. Tiffany Cole said, I have lichen planopilaris alopecia. It is a very painful condition, inflammation, red scalp, and the hair loss is permanent. My alopecia will not stop until all my hair is gone. She said it even attacks the eyebrows after all the hair is gone. She said, I did not hear it firsthand, but I read that she has addressed her depression linked with her alopecia. As a Black woman, our hair is our crown, and it's a very personal thing to us. She also talked about how it affected her being in Hollywood and the roles that she had to play, or if she wanted to wear her natural hair for different shoots, and they would tell her, no, don't do it because you have to look a certain way.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm finishing up Tiffany's statement. She said, I can only wear my hair in a bun now because of the hair loss. It's so bad in the middle, and now it's creeping up to the front of my hair. From my standpoint, I can feel Jada and her offense to what he said.
Listen, I totally understand, and I love you, Tiff, you know that. I understand. That's why I'm saying, once again, I'm not saying if his comment or his comedic rant or his joke was directly towards her alopecia, then yes, he was out of pocket. But I do not, I truly believe, because I mess with the comedy a little bit. I'm trying to be a little comedian and stuff. I don't think it was alopecia related as it was more so her being bald and looking like Demi Moore on the picture for G.I. Jane. That's my whole thing. But let me throw this perspective out at you. Let's say, ladies, let's say he didn't know that she had alopecia. Because remember, stars don't keep up with other stars like that. They got stuff they do, right?
And nobody knows if he knows or not.
Nobody really knows if he knew she had it or not. But let's just say, for the purpose of this statement I'm about to make, that he doesn't know it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sisters in Hollywood been going bald for a while. The sister from The Walking Dead that played in Black Panther, she bald, sexy as hell. She bald headed. It's a lot of sisters that's been cutting their hair low, going bald, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So what if he have said that about, I don't know, let's say Lupita Nyong'o had her hair cut off, or no, the lady from Black Panther that played Michonne in The Walking Dead. She was one of the head of the
Yeah, I
soldiers.
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Donnie, her name Donnie Guya, something like that. What if he'd have made the joke about her? You understand what I'm saying? What would have been received the same way? I don't think it was about alopecia. Again, it was about her being bald. It just and as a matter of fact, from what I understand, just to go a little deeper with this, he didn't even write the damn joke. Look at the list of names of the people who wrote the show. You know what it was. He didn't even write the joke. So, but that's a whole other conversation. I'm going to go back up.
Okay. So Simone said, would this thing of what Chris did be worse if he knew Jada had alopecia? Is it considered just a joke because he may not have known about her condition?
The joke wasn't even related to her condition. The joke was related to her being bald. It had nothing to do with her having or not having alopecia.
Let me interject real quick.
Okay.
It's kind of, it goes back to what I just said. I saw her post in May. I didn't see her post in December. So I get what Floyd is saying. He could have possibly not known, and then it was just a joke. He could have possibly known, and it's just a joke that he has been directed to say on the Oscars. Because the jokes are pre-approved before they get out there. Let's definitely talk. I don't know if it was black, white, or Asian that wrote it, but they're written and they're pre-approved before they state them on the Oscars.
Mm-hmm. So I think what the point that she may be trying to get to is it doesn't matter about the fact of if he knew if she had alopecia or not, if it was directed at her alopecia. It was the point that he was calling her out about being bald, whether that was her choice or if it was a medical condition, as it being a negative thing that she has her hair cut off and that she's bald.
It wasn't, he wasn't, I don't think he was saying it negatively though.
If you're making a joke about something, I'm supposed to find it funny because it's not the norm. And what if it wasn't the norm? What if she didn't want to be in the norm?
Because it's not the norm for Jada to be bald.
But it had a negative impact on her because of the backstory.
Right.
So even though we want to make fun of people, if you don't know what the backstory is, they can take offense to something and you not know why.
Exactly. Oh, I agree with what you're saying.
And so she took offense. He didn't know why. It could have been a whole thing that her and Will talked about her, how she insecure about it. She like, I'm going to get on, I'm going to make a post so don't nobody say nothing about me being bald. So I can kind of diffuse the situation of everybody coming at me of, oh my God, why did she go bald? Why did she do this? And it's a whole lot of extra baggage for her. So it's stuff that it's baggage onto his joke. It wasn't just a joke for her or even for Will, which is why the consequence happened.
Yeah, that was
okay.
That was too much.
So I hear what you're saying.
Now I'm not saying he's right to go hit somebody. We don't condone violence.
At the end of the day, and I'm not saying that just because you're a famous person, you don't have feelings. But at the end of the day, you put yourself out there. You made statements about what it was. I'm not condoning if it was about alopecia or not. But again, I stand firmly on my stance that the joke was not related to alopecia. It's just like if I say, oh man, let me just think of something real quick.
While you thinking about it, I'm gonna get two more comments. So think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tiff said Will had to endure the pain with her about it because I know my husband has done so with me as well. Black Sheep said it is painful about Tiffy's comments. He was defending happy wife, happy life. He was going down at home. He laughed. She didn't. He had to save face or get the couch. Nothing else.
It's always a way to save face, though.
Sharon said, so bald head warranted a slap, but entanglement garnered silence.
Come on, Sharon. Come on, Sharon. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, sis. That's all I'm saying. You
Nunu
decide on the
said,
Oscars on the night that was supposed to be your special night, the night that you finally reached the pinnacle, so to speak, of your career after being shunned so many times. A night where so many of our people are being recognized, whether you give a damn about the Oscars or not. And you chose violence on that night against your own brother, something that you could have handled. Any old school brother would tell you you should have handled it a different way. You could have pulled the brother to the side backstage. You could
he
have talked to the brother.
he still
Whatever
could
the
have
case may
addressed
be.
it right then, as far as I was concerned. He could have nodded and been like, "Not cool, dude."
I'm saying, or just been like, "Boo." You
Yeah,
understand? Or
yeah,
he could, or you know what? If you was gonna come on the stage, you could have just walked up on the stage and leaned in. You know how the brothers put the arm around, hey, bro,
yeah.
in his ear. Like, you know, we black folks got a code how we move with each other. And he was out of pocket for that. And you chose that stage to do that. And then on top of that, you're gonna disrespect the legacy of Richard Williams to try to make your stuff look, make your stuff not stink. You out of pocket, man. You out of pocket for that. He shouldn't have done it. And I don't think Chris Rock was blatantly trying to disrespect that woman. And the point I was trying to make was him saying her baldness was like G.I. Jane is like saying, hey, this might be a poor analogy, but Janet and Michael is twins. Like I'm saying this might be a very poor analogy, but where people would be like, Janet and Michael is twins. You know what I'm saying? Because they look alike.
Uh-huh.
Jada's bald head does resemble Demi Moore's bald head from the movie G.I. Jane. This has nothing to do with alopecia. On top of the fact we're at the Oscars, where people who make movies and theater are celebrated and getting awards. So him correlating her head to a movie that did very well, that she could probably have a possibility of getting the part two in and doing very well in, and also making it funny, kind of made sense at the Oscars. And I don't think it had nothing to do with alopecia at all. I think people just
I get it. Nunu said she felt the same way, Floyd. She didn't
I
move. Where does her loyalty lie? Why he defending her?
Why you defending somebody don't show you the same love that you showing her?
Kool-Aid said he ain't want to be another meme and still ended up being one.
What up, cool?
Nunu said, or be right behind him. Because she didn't move. Erica Smith said, that's right. I'm not sure if she knew he was going to do that. She should have got up and grabbed his arm.
You think about fact. You think about you've been in relationships with your significant other, and it's been a situation where they about to make a move because you know your person. So you know when they about to do something that can have consequences. You understand? So you might be, as a woman, you might be like, hold on, baby. Or as a man, you might be like, hold on, baby. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's no. But kudos to Chris Rock for how he handled it. He didn't press charges because he probably didn't want to see a brother go to jail because that was felony assault while you bullshit. Excuse me, Martha Cuss. While you BS. That was felony assault.
Lele said, yes, he was out of pocket. Will laughed at the joke himself. Tidris Bell said, I think Jada lost respect for Will a long time ago, and he was trying to get some respect from her back. It didn't work.
Listen, ain't no coming back on a different subject outside of the slap. Ain't no coming back from the entanglement, fam. These are the same people who said they had an open relationship and just too long ago said there's no infidelity in their relationship. You understand? Like, it's too many mixed signals with these people. A friend of mine told me about somebody put a meme up that said, Will and Jada, I'm tired of being part of your toxic relationship. Let me be free. It's crazy, man.
So Tiffy said it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was more behind that than just a joke. Will has been the butt of jokes for a long time, and he got tired of it that night.
Still should have handled it a different way. You a cornball, you've been a cornball, it's just what it is, man. People get joked on all the time, especially in the limelight. You the dude who made get jiggy with it. Come on, dog. You made your whole career being a cornball. Stop playing. Now all of a sudden at 50 years old, you want to be bounded, nigga? Stop playing. Stop playing. Ridiculous.
Kool-Aid said Chris busted jokes on them last time when they boycotted them and said they wasn't invited anyway. Erica Smith said, absolutely, Floyd. Did Regina Hall write that joke in regards to Jada and Will?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Angela Worthy said, but how do you separate the two? The baldness baby one in the same as the alopecia.
Again, he was making a correlate. It was a visual thing. It was simply a visual thing. She's bald. Demi Moore was bald in the movie. It's the Oscars. That was a movie. You look like it was just about being bald. Like that's all the joke was about. It was just about being bald. Like that was it. That's all it was. That's all it was.
Tiffy said Chris had talked about Jada and Will in previous years, so at that moment it may have been the last straw for Will. Layla said, I don't think it was about alopecia. I think it was an endearing being compared to Angelina Jolie. No, it was Demi Moore, girl.
Demi Moore.
But it's all right. We
Demi
got
Moore.
you. Will felt like the disrespect was public, so the consequence had to be publicized.
Got to be better than that, though. Got to be better than that, brother. Got to be better than that.
Karen said if she didn't want anyone saying something about her baldness, slap a wig on.
Karen Davis Macon, that is the statement of the night. Whoever you are, right on.
This is my cousin.
That is it. Because you ain't have to tell no damn body that you had nothing. You could have put a weave on, 27-piece, wig, fake locks, whatever you want to do. You put yourself out there so we know how life goes. You put yourself out there. Not saying it's right or it's wrong. But come on, man. Dude wasn't ragging her about alopecia.
Timmy said, I don't put it past Chris's statement the last year about the boycotting the Oscars was plain rude. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
And he said that in 2016. I remember that. But that's comedy, though. I think we really have to look at the fact that people in society are starting to become so sensitive. Comedy was supposed to be an outlet where everyone can get it. It's just like the Dave Chappelle situation where him and the transsexual.
I was just getting ready to say that.
His best friend, one of his good friends, was a transsexual woman who did comedy. Mm-hmm. And people ridiculed him about the jokes that he made against the transsexual community or whatever the case may be. And he had a good friend that was a transsexual. And even the transsexual was talking about that stuff. Comedy is supposed to be an outlet where everyone can get talked about. It's jokes. You have if you can't handle that, then maybe you should stay away from that. We're destroying comedy with our sensitivities. We really are. Comedy was an outlet, and that man was not purposely trying to disrespect that woman. It was a joke, and it had nothing to do with her condition. Period. It's really bad. Like people ass is so tight. If you put a piece of coal in there in 2 weeks, it'll be a diamond. That's how tight these people is out here these days. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad.
Sharon said Chris Rock was the adult of the night. Chris Rock is known for making fun of people. Will has been known for making profanity-free music, and now he's a thug. No, fam.
At 50 years old, he about it now.
And that was why I'm like, do you really think she thought he was gonna go slap that man? Will ain't never been that one.
Even if she didn't think he was gonna get up, when he got up, there was no reason for you to get up.
But I would have been like, what is he? I would have been just as confused as man. What is he going to do? Because he ain't that. He ain't never been that. Now, if my husband back in the day, I know he ain't gonna get up for nothing. And if he get up, it's a problem.
We at the Oscars.
Because he cool.
We at the Oscars. Dude doing a monologue. My husband just got up and walked halfway to the stage after the joke.
And I would have been like, babe, what you doing?
You done got up and ran up there and got him.
I wouldn't have ran up and got him. I would have been like, man, what you doing? I would have had to sit up on the what's going on.
Or
he ain't that dude.
You know, in relationships, your significant other can say something to you and stop you in your tracks. Especially brothers. If your lady say a certain word to you and you get ready to do something, you'll be like, You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm trying to say? Y'all know.
But him even making the walk up, even like if you said he walked up and did that, that still would have been a something, because why did you even have to do that? It could have been a simple from your seat, dude, that ain't cool.
Right. He was out of pocket.
He didn't have to get up, but it is what it is. Karen said it definitely was not the place or the time. Take that situation behind the curtain.
Like real brothers do.
Tiffany said until he comes out and says he didn't know about her alopecia, it is a possibility he knew. The joke was pre-approved, so the question is, when did she cut it?
She cut her hair in May of 2021. She talked about the alopecia in December of 2021.
Okay, so think about the joke being pre-approved. There's a room full of writers, comedy writers who are writing for the Oscars. They're throwing material back and forth between each other, having a meeting and sitting at the table. Hey, how about this? Jada Pinkett, G.I. Jane. Oh, yeah, she's bald like Demi Moore. Hey, that's a good one. Ha ha. Nothing about alopecia.
Okay, but that also comes to who's in the room writing the jokes. And you just said who you thought was in the room writing the jokes,
if
right?
I could find it, social media posted a list of the actual writers of the joke, and it wasn't a brother in the...
Okay, and that comes with knowing your people and who's in the room. And you don't mess around with a black woman's hair, because that's a issue for us.
Okay.
So if somebody was in the room black that could have said, I don't think y'all need to say that. Maybe it wouldn't have came off like that.
But again, this goes back to the statement I made about comedy. Comedy is different. The joke was not about her having alopecia.
It ain't got to be about alopecia. It's her hair, period. And she a black woman. We don't play by our damn hair.
If it had been Sinead O'Connor sitting in the front row, they would have said the same thing.
She's a white woman. You can't compare her to a black woman and her hair.
Okay, my fault. Had it been the lady from Black Panther that played on Walking Dead, she's a bald head. It would have been the same joke.
And I still would have looked at him sideways. Because why are you talking about her and her hair? Why are you talking about her and her hair? Why is her hair the butt of your jokes as a black woman?
I think we have to understand comedy. I think the line between comedy and disrespect these days has become a very slippery slope, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
You're right.
You know, it's again the Dave Chappelle situation. Like this is unfortunate. It had nothing to do with her condition. Like I said, I think if it was any bald woman there, black woman, that joke would have been, he would have said the joke. Period.
So now let's take it to you saying about Dave Chappelle. Even when Dave Chappelle talked about his transgender friend, he also mentioned when he was telling the jokes, he always looked at her to see if she was laughing, and she was, which was his approval of what he was saying was funny for her. Mm-hmm. That was not an approval for her.
So
now I'm not saying that Will should have got up, but I am saying it was disrespectful.
So what I was gonna say is, if we speaking on whether or not he knew about the alopecia, at the point where Will felt like his wife was being disrespected, I agree with you, Keely. He could have given some other type of bro to bro signal, like nigga. You know what I'm saying? Even mouth that.
Yeah.
And still dealt with it in a different manner. Mm-hmm. Because I'm definitely not taking away from how Jada felt, because she has a right to feel how she feels about her condition. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Tiff, for the education on it from a personal perspective, because that definitely brings a different vantage point to it. And that's why I said I'm all over the place, because I'm not any of those three people. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're all outsiders looking in. Mm-hmm. And I just think at the bare minimum, it's like you said, he could have done it differently. Like, you didn't have to walk across the stage and smack the crap out of him because she was offended. She has a right to be offended, but you could have addressed him about her offense in a different manner. Because he even after Will smacked him, he was like, it was just a joke. He said that after Will smacked him. And then when Will kept saying, keep my mouse
My
name
wife's
out
name.
your effing mouth, he said, I will. Like he wasn't even trying to go back and forth about what he said because he knew in that moment that they were pissed. And I actually made a copy of his apology. I want to read that real quick.
Of whose apology?
Chris Rock's.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, Will didn't apologize for nothing.
No. He said, as a comedian, it can be difficult to understand which lines are to be crossed and which ones aren't. Last night, I crossed a line that I shouldn't have and paid the enormous price of my reputation as a renowned comedian. Comedy is never about poking fun at or making light of people with major ordeals happening in their lives. Comedy is about using real life circumstances to create laughter and bring light to an otherwise dark world. With that said, I sincerely apologize to my friends, Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, and the rest of the Smith family for the disrespect and disregard I displayed, which was unfortunately broadcast for the world to see. I hope that with time, forgiveness can come of this situation and we can all be better, more considerate people in the end.
That's PR. That was PR.
Well, it may be, but he still did it and didn't have to.
No, he didn't, because you the one that got slept.
Yeah, he didn't have to say nothing.
Again,
but I like PR or not, I like that it broached the topic of what comedy is supposed to be about, like what you were saying. It's supposed to be about laughter and making this dark world funny because that's what we live in. So I thought that was big of him to be slapped and apologize.
Yeah.
All day long, strapped on stage.
Black Sheep's on said, now comedians about to be strapped on stage.
For real.
Lele said, sorry, Demi Moore. Karen said, I can't wait to see the red table talk on this incident.
Right.
Nunu said, LOL at Aunt Karen. Dave said, then rap Big Willie style.
He sure did.
Oh, this is what I was getting ready to say. Was it you that told me, Keely? Somebody told me that in a comment prior to the Oscars, Will said that him and Jada was dressed
to choose chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh no, that wasn't me. I didn't see that.
It was a post. It's still on Instagram. They dressed tonight and chose to choose chaos. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why they said the post didn't go over well.
So that's why people are still debating whether or not it was planned on Will's part.
Yeah, it might have been like, if he say something about you, baby, I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna do something.
So that speaks to what Tiff said. It could have been built up aggression, and he is like, say something this year. Say something this year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because what are you talking about? You dress for chaos.
But again, it's the wrong night to choose chaos. Did you not?
Right.
It's been this whole fight about the Oscars being so lily white, and you got Will Packer. It was the producer of the night.
Right.
Sam Jackson won. Questlove won, and Questlove's speech was amazing. Like, it's like, come on, dude, really? And do y'all feel like he should have been escorted out when he did it?
If he chose violence, so let's say that post they put up was really a precursor to what happened. Stealing Albany, you should have called Chris Rock before the show. Look, brother, don't say nothing about my wife, man. I understand it's comedy and all of that, but my wife is very sensitive to jokes about her person, especially her hair. That's what real brothers do. And I'm quite sure Chris Rock would have omitted that joke if he felt like it was disrespectful and that brother came to him like a man before the show. It ain't like they don't talk.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more to it. And I think dude need therapy. I think him jumping on the stage was bigger than just you disrespecting my wife, because you smacked that man open hand. So you tried to emasculate that brother at the same time. It was deeper than just you thinking your wife was disrespected. It was deeper than that. Because you tried to emasculate that brother on national television. Because a real man would have punched that mob in the face. He smacked him.
That's what everybody was. There was a lot of guys commenting on that as well.
Slap the shit out somebody.
Like, why didn't you punch him?
Right. So it was bigger than that. It was deeper than that. Will need therapy because his wife is slutting out here in these streets. She for the streets, and she emasculated you in front of the world. Period. And you became the butt of everybody's joke because you got emasculated by your wife. The woman that you riding for like Sir Lancelot ain't got that same energy for you. So you need to go talk to somebody. What's that girl name? Iyanla fuck my life or fix my life, whatever that is. Go talk to somebody.
Sharon said Dave Atkins hush rolling on the floor about his rapping Big Willie style.
Wow.
Dave, you wild. That's what Kool-Aid said.
But he did rap Big Willie style after that.
Tiffany said Chris did a whole movie on black hair, so he knew better.
True.
But I still say he
True.
wasn't. I still don't feel like the
that's
joke was about
facts.
her alopecia.
That's facts.
There's gonna be several. Oh my fault. Go ahead.
We all saw what one little fight did to him before.
Ooh, what?
Look, we're all gonna have different. Oh my fault. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
We're all gonna have different perspectives about this based on our own experiences. So I agree with you, FACKTgoddess, about you all over the place. A lot of people are just all over the place because there are so many points that you can agree with. And I just want to be clear. I understand how she felt disrespected. I get it. But I also understand comedy and what comedy is. I also understand I'm a black man too, and how black men handle situations, especially on that level and in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I'm all over the place, but I just have a different perspective overall. And at the end of the day, he was out of pocket, period. Dude, it was a joke. However you want to look at it. Some people gonna feel disrespected by it. Some people won't. My opinion was it was a joke that had nothing to do with her condition. Was it in poor taste? Maybe it would have been poor timing. I really can't speak to that because I understand comedy. So I can't really say it was in poor taste or it was being disrespectful because comedy crosses the lines of disrespect. It crosses the lines of status. It crosses all those lines. Comedy is a whole world of its own. It's an outlet where we all can go and have a laugh and forget about what we deal with in the real world. But we take these real world situations and we make light of them. So we all gonna have different perspectives, but I just feel like dude was wrong. I really can't say Chris Rock was wrong because I understand comedy, but Will was wrong for how he played that period. 50-year-old want to be a thug now.
Black Sheep said Chris went backstage and slapped the writer. Sharon said our whole culture has gotten too soft and takes things too personally. We used to talk about each other and jones each other for fun. What another person says about me doesn't define me. Chill.
Sharon spitting tonight. Right on, sis.
Kool-Aid said too soft. Yeah, he should have been escorted out.
Right on.
He slapped him like he said, call
me Mr. Tabs.
Ow.
That's my favorite part of that movie.
Oh, Black Sheep said public figures are fair game.
But you know what? Okay, let me say this too. Because I did think about this. Like, what if my wife was suffering from, like, I'm going to use alopecia because that's what we're dealing with, right? And we both famous. My wife then came out and said, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. We're public figures. We're subject to scrutiny at the most heinous levels on a daily basis, especially with social media, right? Because you had a choice to keep that to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You had a choice to, do what you do. Because we done seen Chadwick Boseman, what's the brother that just passed away, the Louis Vuitton brother, Victor Abloh or whatever his name. These brothers was battling cancer, didn't tell no damn about it. I'm not trying to say she shouldn't. I'm just making a point. Like, you had a choice to come out. So when you made that decision to tell the world that, I'm sure you thought to yourself that you're going to be subject to different perspectives, whether positive or negative. So getting back to my point, if this was my wife and we were famous and she had a condition like that, not a dying, life-threatening condition, just this condition, and this dude make a joke, I'm going to be cool, and then afterwards I'm going to go holler at him. Or if I know him, because they know each other, You could, like you said, Keely, like you said, Melinda, he could have sent a signal, hey dog, chill out. Or you could have hollered at him before the show because obviously you had it on your mind because y'all had an issue for 2016. So you had 4, 5, 6 years that you could have hollered at this brother. Y'all sit in the front row every year. The front row get ripped every year. So you had an opportunity to deal with it like brothers deal with real brothers. You see what I'm saying? So regardless of how we feel about the joke, whatever, you had time to deal with it so that situation wouldn't have happened. Because it took away from a lot of other people who got awards and was supposed to have they light at that time.
Hell, it took away from him too.
Sam Jack.
Karen said Will knew he was wrong because he said, "I hope I get invited back next year."
Yeah, he was out of pocket.
So I pulled a couple of people that are just friends of mine on Facebook that was discussing different things about this, and somebody said if Jimmy Kimmel had made the same joke, I guarantee you that he wouldn't have jumped up like that. I'm not impressed. That was cap.
Yeah, that's why I said Jimmy
So,
Fallon, somebody he would have did that.
so underneath that, somebody said, but Jimmy wouldn't make that type of joke though, and we all know that.
That ain't true.
I don't know. Let me finish the rest of the stuff. They said Chris Rock is shameless. We can't talk about what ifs. So then they said he would have because they burn on the audience every year. I really feel like he wouldn't have done it. Black celebrities always get mad at other black celebrities. They just smile when it's a white comedian. So back to that, somebody said white comedians toe the line. They wouldn't have said it. It's the black comedians who always go too far because they feel they can and nobody will say anything.
Didn't something just happen on an award show where a Caucasoid woman said something about a sister and
Oh, the Williams sisters.
huh?
It
Was
was
that
a
what it
it
was?
was a
Yeah, hanging
director.
out with the guys. She called them men basically
Yeah,
indirectly. Right.
she said that she's more oppressed than them because they don't have to compete against men like she does.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a director and she talking about them playing tennis.
And then
But
she
she
talked
just
about them
brought them
being the
into the
guys.
conversation.
She
For no
called them the
reason.
guys, which we all know throughout their history that people who disrespect them be saying they look like men and all of that. So she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't get a lot of backlash from that, did you?
Oh no, Black Twitter took her down.
Yeah, Black Twitter.
Black Twitter. Oscar committee is discussing taking the Oscars from him. Do you think he should lose the Oscars?
Ladies.
Do I think Chris Rock should lose the Oscars?
No, Will Smith.
Oh, they're discussing taking the Oscar
Yeah,
from
they
him.
are. Yeah.
Oh, no,
Why not?
because his work is his work. Like that was a personal choice that he made, and if Chris pressed charges, that's what he could have done, and he chose not to. That would have been his consequence for that action. But his work at the end of the day is his work.
I think Chris didn't press charges because he didn't want to see a brother go to jail for
So,
selling something.
speaking on what you just posted about Karen saying that they're talking about taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
So this female doctor, Caucasian doctor, Emily Porter, said, just a reminder that if Will Smith had slapped Betty White for a joke she made, however insensitive, she easily could have fallen backward, cracked her skull, and died of a brain bleed. Yeah. Saying with Bob, how do you pronounce this? S-A-G-E-T?
Bob Saget.
Mm-hmm. Saying with Bob Saget, obviously, violence is never okay. I'm team take it back.
Yeah, so I saw that earlier. Yeah.
So people are expressing that they want them to take the Oscar from him.
I'm trying to think. I was watching something talking about violence. Like I think it might have been correlated with this. You attacking people and you not knowing what their condition is. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I say.
Like she said, if the comedian was white and was slapped, Will would be under the jail.
For real.
For they would have played the music, muted everything. You just see Will doing the go to jail.
They would have went to a commercial break quick.
And you came back and he would have been gone. Looking like they're going through strife.
Oh, it says rules say you can lose due to morality clause.
Oh.
Okay then. Take it from them.
Is a slap a morality clause, or the fact that you chose not to choose violence?
I think they should take it from them.
Ah,
Straight up. Consequence, repercussions. And brothers, if you are watching today, God bless you. I love you. But you want to protect your woman, I get it. You can't do what Will Smith did. There are consequences and repercussions, brothers. You can go to jail, brothers. You ain't got
Kool-
20 million, brothers.
Kool-Aid said, "Why we always trying to take stuff back? His work
Kool-Aid,
is
you don't
his
think they should take
work.
the Oscar back?
His work is his work. He
All
did
right.
that.
You don't think they should take it back, Cool? I don't know. I guess. I thought they should take it back.
His work is his work. He just made a poor personal choice at the moment, in the heat of the moment, and then make a great choice. We're all human. Ain't nobody perfect. People make mistakes. You can make a mistake in the heat of the moment, and it happens. But that does not mean that what you have accomplished is less great than what you have accomplished. You just messed up in the moment.
Let me quickly address this other subject while we're here. It is assault, Mike Bizzle. That is right. Thank
It
you,
is
sir.
an assault that the person who got assaulted chose not to press charges. Because guess what? You slap me, let me get big, and you slap me, I'm pressing charges. I'm like the girl that was on the water train. Pressing charges.
There would have been fisticuffs at the Oscars. But let me comment on this too, because I said at the beginning of the show, and I just want to kind of shine another light on it. There was a lot of chatter on social media, and I'm not trying to single anybody out. There's a lot of sisters who was like, "That's the type of love I want. I want that the man that's gonna stand up for me like Will Smith did."
Yeah, there are a lot of women saying that.
Sisters, with all due respect, Black Queens, Mother of the Universe, all that, right? This ain't that. Them some $200 million people.
You got too much to lose.
Who ain't gonna have no consequences or repercussions. We are middle class, Lord have mercy, just a ghetto child trying to make it. Hope I get rich for they take it type folk. So soon as you be like, mother, they gonna lock you up or you say fuck. You understand what I'm saying? So we supposed to protect our women, but we also have to be smart about how we move. Yes. And regardless of what Will did to protect his woman or what any other brother in this world gonna do to protect his significant other, there is still a responsibility as Black men to each other. And there's a way that you have to move when you dealing with your brother. I get it. If he out of pocket to the point where you got to lay hands on him, I understand that. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made a beautiful statement years ago when we was talking about Michael Vick. He said, if my words are too disrespectful, who better to reprimand me than my brother? We don't get in your family business. You stay out of ours. The bigger point to that statement was we have to deal with and police each other. There are ways that we move. Will Smith could have talked to that brother instead of putting his hands on him. We even in the streets out here doing our own thing. You have to address your brothers a certain way. Now, if they get to fisticuffs or something like that, and it's your last resort, you got to do what you got to do. But we have to move in a certain way because we have a certain responsibility to ourselves and to each other, especially our people.
Okay, so in saying that, let's go back to the comment about Chris Rock doing the show about the hair and that he should have known better, right? So let's say if we agree with that statement, if he saw the joke and he knows that Black women don't play about their hair, should he or could he have not just omitted it himself? If you're putting the responsibility of addressing our people in the way we address our people.
That's a very good point. And my rebuttal is, again, I have to fall back on the sword of comedy. I have to fall back on comedy. And when you're a comedian, you're gonna say things that may be deemed disrespectful. That may be, that may make people feel a litany of ways. But it's comedy. We laugh at ourselves. We laugh at our own pain. It's comedy. So again, I say it's like this slippery slope. Should he have omitted the joke? I guess in another perspective he could have, but for the purpose of comedy, no, because it was comedy, and in a comedian's mind, it's just a joke.
Okay, so let's say Will approached him and said, Don't say that joke.
Then
We don't
you
want that
supposed
joke
to
to happen.
not say it because the brother came to you like a real brother. Don't say
And then
it.
if he
No
still
problem.
said it because it's just comedy in his eyes, then what?
Okay, then at that point, if you have addressed him and said, don't say this, or even the broader view, don't say anything that could be deemed disrespectful, or my wife is very sensitive, don't say nothing that could be deemed that will make her feel some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And you still say something. At that point, you either catch him in the back, catch him outside, or whatever. Or if you just felt that way in that moment, then you could have said something from your chair. Hey man, chill out, right? Or
Yeah.
you could have been cool, like the old school brothers do. I'm gonna catch you outside after the show during the break. I might tighten you up real quick, and you might hear a story about Chris Rock got his ass whooped in Austin's bathroom outside the show. You understand what I'm saying? Or y'all might you might say something to him, but it's a way you do it. So now, if I tell you don't do it and you do it, now we've crossed the line. This ain't about comedy no more because I've addressed you as a man and told you don't do it. I understand it's comedy, but I'm telling you that my wife may feel some type of way about it. So, brother, who got a wife yourself, can you omit this and don't say nothing about my wife? Keep it clean.
So
my wife.
for me, that lends to if that happened, and these are all hypotheticals because we don't know what the hell happened behind the scene, but that lends to why Chris apologized the way that he did. Because it did not warrant him getting slapped, did not warrant him doing an apology. But let's say that Will did address him and say, don't say nothing about my wife and her hair because these jokes are already pre-approved and you done said something and I say don't say it and then you still say it. And in comedy, because you like, man, that's a good one though. I couldn't let it go. I had to say it tonight. And then you got up and got slapped.
I would really like to know, and I would try to find out, what is the actual process? Like, do they write the jokes and then bring Chris in and he goes over the jokes? Just for my own thought process.
Yeah.
Do they bring him in? Because he clearly didn't write the joke. You know what I'm saying? So do they bring him in?
That's what my coworker was saying, Keely, what you just said. Like, he feels like it was already a discussion and Chris still did what he wanted to do. So Will was like, nah, I got to smack fire from you because I told you to keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
When was the discussion?
He's just saying that's his opinion on the situation. The reason why Will reacted the way that he did.
Because like I'm saying, no, we don't know if there was a discussion. We don't know if he knew if she had alopecia. We don't know none of this stuff.
Right.
We just going off of what we saw in that instance. But what I'm saying is if it was a discussion, then that warrants the apology that Chris gave because him getting slapped, I don't give a fuck. I ain't apologizing because you slapped me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not apologizing for being disrespectful if I thought it was a joke. And he did. And he kept saying, come on, y'all, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say that I feel like after watching the everything transpire, because I watched they show like an uncensored version. I don't think that was something that was discussed before based upon how Chris Rock was. Like after he said the joke, like, hey, it's just a joke. Like if you have discussed something as brothers, I'm speaking from the black perspective, brothers then discuss, hey, bro, don't do it. That wouldn't have transpired. It wouldn't have been, oh, it's just a joke.
If I'm still thinking Will is a soft, then I'm like, I'm gonna say the joke and be like, it was just a joke, Will. It was just a joke. I'm not expecting Will to get up and smack fire from me because Will ain't that tight. He ain't never been that tight.
It's definitely a possibility because they also didn't look shocked and surprised about what he said. And Jada like kind of did the smack her lip, roll her eyes, tilt her head. Like it. I'm just saying, it is a different vantage point.
You still said it.
Like you still said it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kinds of possibilities. That's why I said I'm just all over the place.
Okay, we got some other ones. Black Sheep said consequences happen. Kool-Aid said just suspend it from the future shows. Karen said, but in 2017, the Oscars made some type of ruling against violence.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I don't know nothing about that. Okay. Tiffany said, don't take it back. He's not a repeat offender. He had a weak moment. Black Sheep said can't protect in jail. Going to jail today. You going to jail today. Black Sheep said, I know a lot of non-repeat murderers.
Talk to him, Bizzle. Talk to him. Talk to him. Right.
Erica said, no, because that Oscar is bigger than him. It was a wonderful movie that showed a wonderful Black father raising his daughters. His work is his work.
And again, go ahead.
Oh, she said, not personally, just making a point. Oh, that was Black Sheep. Black Sheep said, Keely hit it on the head. You need more of us in the writing room.
Well, that's true too.
But at the Oscars, it's not going to be that.
But at the same time, he still shouldn't have been trying to, when he took his acceptance speech, don't try to go up there and clean up what you did by using Richard Williams' legacy for that. You was out of pocket, dog. Just own up to what you did. You was in your feelings about what happened. You assaulted a Black man. Don't try to talk about the legacy of Richard Williams. That ain't got nothing to do with you, bruh. Don't do that. You out of pocket for that, man. That's all I'm saying.
Black Sheep said, obviously the writer ain't that good because he not on Front Street telling the jokes. He behind the words. Who need to find him? And sorry, hon, unless he is bigger than, and he said, Will.
Hey,
white guy.
I just want to throw into a side note.
He said white guy.
That and I'm excuse me, ladies, but I like Venus and Serena Williams like a little too much. I don't really like Serena as much no more because of her choice of life partners. So I have moved on to Venus, and I know Venus be whatever.
Wait a minute, you ain't seen Venus, partner?
I know. I was just about to say until she make it official. I'm holding on. But did y'all see Venus? She had a little Janet Jackson moment.
What?
She had a Janet moment.
He said she had a Janet Jackson moment.
Yeah,
who did?
Venus.
Yeah.
In what regard? I don't know.
Janet Jackson had a nip slip, girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see if I can.
You're showing us?
I ain't got to show you. I'm sorry.
We can't see none of that anyway. Your background keep blurring it out.
I think
background ain't trying to show now.
Send it to us later.
I think it's a strong two sides to this because you do have it from people's comedic standpoint, and then you have it from people's protect. Well, these are two of the points I'll say. Protect Black women. Amanda Seals said, heads up, if you can't take a joke about you, please don't attend my show and sit in the front row. There is a possibility I will roast you. And like any comic, I will start with what I see because that's what I know. And I will have security posted.
That's Amanda Seals?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I messed with her today. Because the other day.
So she basically is from the comedic standpoint saying, if you on the front row, you can possibly get it. And it doesn't matter who you are, which is kind of what we were touching on earlier. So then there's this, I don't know if you guys know this journalist. Her name is Demetria Lucas. Mm-hmm. She said, protect Black women. Disclaimer. Only do so in private and never in front of white people and not in respectable places such as award shows because nothing should interrupt the run of show. And again, white people will see you. And don't be disrespectful while protecting. Polite protection only. Please, sir, kindly consider not speaking ill of my spouse. And she put a check by that comment. And she put an X by keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. She said, and only protect her if you think the scenario is warranted. A Black woman's actual feelings of disrespect are secondary to your interpretation. Comedians are a protected class, and the words coming out of their mouth are more worthy of protection than any Black woman, including your wife, because of freedom of speech. Absolutely no laying of hands under any circumstances. Only protect women who society unanimously agrees are worthy of respect. Otherwise, F them hoes. No, F them bees. That's what she said.
How many times have we laughed at comedians making jokes about serious things that go on in people's lives? more serious than that situation last night. There's no one in this room, in this chat room, or anywhere else that has not laughed at a comedian making light of someone else's pain that was more detrimental than this situation. Again, I say, now, what that sister said, that journalist you just read, I agree with her. Some of that I agree with her with, because
Some of it, not
some
all
of
of
it,
it, but
but
some of it was out
I
of
mean,
pocket.
because again, I say protecting black women from a male perspective, and again, I'm not the only male in the world. From a male perspective, my opinion of protecting a black woman still falls under the guidelines and the code of how I move and interact with another brother. Because at the end of the day, that's my brother. So we supposed to be family, right? So we have to reprimand and correct our brothers and sisters with love. Now, if they do something out of pocket that break that code, then yeah, we got to handle our business. You understand? But it's a way we move, and him emasculating that brother on national television, that don't help nothing. That actually caused more problems than it did anything. Cause it was just not right. It was a way he could have handled that, but it is what it is. And he was
Okay, so
laughing.
Karen said, okay, if he had talked to Chris earlier, why was Will laughing in the beginning?
All right, Miss Megan, come on now.
Black Sheep said, laughing until he saw his wife's face.
Right, right, all day.
Tiffany said he was laughing like, I know he just didn't say that. I got something for you.
No, that looked like a ha ha ha. That looked like this. That looked like ha ha. He looked at his wife like ha.
And then Kool-Aid said comedians are a protected class to a point, i.e. Kramer.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
no, cool. Kramer used a very disrespectful word toward black folk, and he said some very, very disrespectful things about black people as a race. So at that point, that is no longer comedy. That is, we gonna beat your ass when we find you because you out of pocket.
But we don't condone violence.
That's the crossing the comedic line with Kramer. That he was like nigger and like he was bogish. Bogish.
Mm-hmm.
Bogish. Bogish. Bogish.
I got one more thing I want to share with y'all. DL, I'm sorry. Yeah, DL Hughley posted this, and it was from a page called April Watts Live.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
She said, hashtag unpopular opinion. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was misdirected anger and frustration behind becoming a joke, a meme, and the poster boy for emasculation by no fault of his own. Chris took the slap for everyone on social media who Will can't hit. Chris also took the slap because Will hasn't properly and effectively dealt with his anger and frustration with Jada.
What I say earlier, the boy,
What
that
you
it was
said?
bigger than that, and the boy need therapy. It was bigger than that. He felt like a little, and he been feeling like a little, and now all of a sudden you want to get big with little ass Chris Rock. Man, come on. I bet if the Rock would, they had a meme about that. What if the Rock would have said it? You wouldn't have been trying to smell what the Rock was cooking. You wouldn't have smacked him. Ma.
Kool-Aid is laughing at you. Black Sheep said, don't handle business in public, silent assassin moves. You won't see it, but you will feel it.
Right on. That Bizzle Nami for Mike Bizzle.
As my son says, he moved like the G in lasagna.
That's right. That's right. Stay in the cut like a C-section.
Oh, it's toss up.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I don't think he handled it properly. I do think that there was things that could have been done differently on both sides. Chris, as a comedian, in knowing about just the offensiveness of talking about a black woman's hair, could have omitted the thing, or as y'all say, he's a comedian. He felt like it was funny, so he said what he said. I still don't think it warranted him getting slapped, regardless of what he said. It still could have been, and even if he was still angry, like even if it was after the show, it still didn't warrant you putting your hands on me. Words are words. I didn't put my hands on your wife, and I didn't put my hands on you, so then you don't touch me. Or you going to jail today? That's all I got to say.
Final thoughts?
Fat Goddess.
Final thoughts?
I'm still all over the place. No, it's just, I mean, I have like little agreements in a lot of people's opinions. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is hitting on, like I said, you have it from a comedic standpoint, you have it from a protect Black women standpoint, or maybe even just women in general, because there may be women of other races who are going through hair loss that feel like it was very insensitive. And then you have it from the Black on Black violence. You know what I'm saying? It's so many different vantage points that can be pulled from this one, 40-second incident. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said I'm all over the place, because people are making very valid points, because, we just don't know. We're all outsiders looking in. We don't know if there was a pre-conversation. We don't even know if there was a post-conversation after it was all said and done. So I think for me, with all of the unknowns and question marks, personally, I just feel like I wish he would have handled it differently, as far as smacking him right there in that moment on national television, because of all of the underlying issues we have as a race in general. Because other races can easily say, look what happened when you let them produce the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? It can be so many stigmatisms that come from that incident, negative stigmatisms that come from that incident. So I just wish that he would have handled it differently. And I'm definitely, like Floyd and I were saying earlier, not taking away from the sensitivity or the hurt or the pain or depression or whatever else emotion is connected to it for Jada, not taking away from that. I just wish that it could have been handled differently, so it wouldn't be trauma added to trauma, because what she's feeling is trauma. So now that's doubled.
So I guess my final thoughts is this, and I won't be long-winded, but I gotta say this. You know how when we was younger and stuff would be going on in the family? Like, remember when AIDS first started really hitting folks, and Black folks would be like, Ray Ray died of cancer, but all the time it was AIDS. Have y'all ever like been around people who have a situation? And we understand that the reason why these things occur within our families and loved ones is because we or they didn't want other people to ridicule them or look at them as less than ideal, or have any type of stereotypical thoughts about those people. Because, just during that time, people had less than ideal thoughts about people's character than when it came to AIDS. Like, oh, no, he died of cancer, whatever it was. Or you strung out on drugs, they're like, oh, he died of cancer. So I'm saying all that to say, when you, especially in this age, in an age where we have social media that has no conscience, where people get behind computers and they say some of the most ridiculous things, she made a conscious decision to tell the world about her condition. As a celebrity, you are subject to all type of ridicule. It does not mean that your feelings and your sensitivity should be devalued, but the understanding that you are in a certain space where you are constantly criticized, constantly dissected, you should have made a conscious choice. If she didn't make the conscious choice then, when she wanted to come out and say what her hair condition was, I'm very sure that Jada Pinkett, I'm sure she's a very intelligent woman based on the entanglements and stranglements and everything else that she do, that she knew the good, bad, and the ugly of her coming out revealing what her condition was. So at that point, you have to have an understanding that you're going to get talked about. Whether he meant to do it as disrespect to her condition or not, that's another perspective, like I said. So personally, I feel like you should have thought about that more. You shouldn't have never said nothing. Because you already knew what was going to happen either way it went. You already saw what happened with the entanglement. But you've been putting your business, but at the same time, and I hate to sound insensitive, but it's like you put all your business out there. People was making memes and jokes about you. You put your own shit out there and emasculated your own husband in front of the world on a consistent basis. So now someone makes a joke, whether it was about your condition or just about you being bald, and now you're extra sensitive. Again, I don't believe in disrespecting nobody, but I believe it was a joke. I think Chris Rock was a bigger person, comes from the Dick Gregory School of Thought. I must repeat. I think it was a bigger person. I think we're starting to police comedy to the point where it's no longer being comedy anymore. And I just feel like if you have sensitivities like that, then maybe you shouldn't indulge in comedic situations. Maybe you shouldn't listen to comedy. Maybe you shouldn't make yourself available to be the butt of a joke. If he was really if he was really joking about your condition. So those are my thoughts about that. I guess I'm all over the place like everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? But we're policing comedy at a rate where it's not comedy anymore. And people are selectively sensitive these days. Selectively sensitive these days. And that's a problem. You know, Will should have handled his business a different way. As a brother, I think he was bogus as hell, and he needed to get whatever negativity coming his way. But it ain't gonna happen. He gonna end up selling some books. He gonna make a movie and make tons of money. She gonna do some type of campaign against anti-bullying and make all type of money, and it's just gonna get swept under the rug. But he was bogus for what he did. Brothers and sisters, let's police each other. And when we have situations where we need to deal with each other about disrespect, let us do it with love, unless the situation calls for us not to, because we need to move forward. So please, sisters on social media, stop saying you want to love like that. Because if you try to protect the black woman and Ray smacked the hell out of somebody for disrespecting you, and now he's doing 10 years in jail, he can't protect you or them kids. So let's be real selective about what our definition of protection is and move in a righteous way, in a way that's not going to cause us more problems. Because like my mama used to say, them 5 minutes will cost you 50 years. Word up to my mama. So that's it.
All right, and we got a whole couple of comments came through while you was talking. Kool-Aid said they said Chris' face looked like his mama hit him in front of his friends. You know they did a whole meme with that part in Kevin Hart's thing when he said, "You gonna slap me in front of my friends?" Oh, Black Sheep said, "Let's see if his commas dropped from this incident."
They won't. They won't. They not.
And he said, "We know there was pain unresolved." Kool-Aid said, "Not remotely, because Ali 2 is coming up." Black Sheep said he needs to do a Pursuit of Happiness 2.
Pursuit of Slappiness Part 2.
And Kool-Aid said that's a long pursuit. Black Sheep said Concussion 2 starring C-Rock.
Right. Y'all so wrong.
We don't condone violence. Alopecia is something that needs more awareness. It will only get the awareness if people choose not to hide it any longer.
I mean, and I get that. I get that, Tim. I feel you on that. I feel that. I just feel like her being a celebrity, you have to understand that when you step out there as a celebrity, you're going to get the good and the bad. So you have to prepare yourself for that. Maybe that's why Chadwick Boseman and Virgil Abloh didn't come out and say they was fighting cancer. Because look what happened when people found out that he was right before he died. People was making jokes about this brother. He was dying. They was making jokes. Tony Braxton's sister just died of cancer, and we just found out. People making jokes about it. So you already knew when you decided to come out and say, "Hey, I have alopecia. I'm going to be the voice for alopecia." You already knew what it was. You knew what you was going to get from either side.
I think in her defense, I think she felt like, and a lot of people who are celebrities feel like they use their platform to speak out for people that are regular who don't have the platform to speak out for themselves. So just like Tiffany just said, it's something that needs more awareness. Tiffany don't have the same platform as Jada does.
Right.
So Jada is using her platform. She made it aware that that's what she was going through. She has made posts about it. She said what she had to do with her hair. So it was to raise, and I think it also was to protect her too, because if I got to shave my hair off as a Black woman, I may not want to be bald. I may want some long hair. I may want my short pixie cut, but if I have alopecia, I can't do that. So now I'm bald and I'm putting myself out there in hopes that your humanity is not going to make fun of me because I have this going on. Now I'm not talking about the Chris Rock comment or anything. I'm talking about in general and her putting herself out there, because you said she didn't have to, which she didn't, but she chose to, and in hopes that it defers some of those negative comments. Because just like with Tiffany Haddish, when she shaved her hair off, they cut her ass down like a tree in the forest that they didn't care nothing about. They was ready to make some pencils with because she chose to cut her hair off. They called all kinds of men. She looked like this. She did this. Why would she cut her hair off? She chose to.
I would just like to publicly say that Tiffany Haddish is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. But I would also like to say that, again, I agree with what you're saying. But if that was the case, when you made that decision to come out, yes, you can believe humanity this, humanity that. But we live in a world that's quite the opposite. So she should have prepared herself possibly a little better, because you understand the scrutiny and the jokes that are going to come your way. You just went through it when you emasculated your man on national television about the entanglement. So you already knew what it was. So the question, maybe I should ask this question to y'all there real quick. If you have an illness or an ailment or whatever, right? And you're a celebrity and you understand how the world works and how people will go in on you. When you make the decision to come out and say it, are you not thinking about that part? Shouldn't you toughen yourself up? Maybe thicken your skin up? Or, to know better is to do better. So, people was going to come at you in general. Now you want to get extra sensitive about it? Like, I don't know. I'm on the fence too. I guess I'm all over the place too. But I just feel like when you come out with something like that,
it's easy.
When you come out with something like that, people gonna go in on you. So now you're gonna try to get sensitive. Come on now. Somebody gonna roast you. Sit your ass in the back.
So let me say this though.
Well, they couldn't sit in the back because it was Will's night. It was supposed to be Will's night.
So let me say this though, about the black hair thing. It what Keely was saying earlier. It's just, you do have to go back to, like I said, another vantage point. Black women and our hair and the sensitivity of that whole topic. You don't even have to be a celebrity. So at this point, it's not even about her being a celebrity. When I cut my hair off to start my locks, I received all kinds of scrutiny from everybody, family, friends, even coworkers that barely even knew me. Was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? Are you dying? Like, it was crazy questions asked. And I'm like, thank God I am who I am. So the scrutiny didn't bother me. But if you're someone who is dealing with depression or any other type of mental health issues, then it can be triggers for other things. So that's why I said, again, I'm all over the place, because there's so many vantage points at which you can look at this. So if depression is playing a part of her having the alopecia, it doesn't matter if he knew or not. This is a trigger because you're pointing the finger at her. And at that juncture, it doesn't even matter that she's a celebrity. She's a black woman that had to cut her hair off, possibly unwillingly.
Then maybe she shouldn't have came out and said nothing.
But why not? Why can't she have the right to say it? That doesn't mean she has to be scrutinized.
Because of the understanding that you may not be ready for the backlash and the jokes that you're going to receive. because you understand living in the real world that there are people out here who lack the humanity to be empathetic or understanding, or will use your less than ideal situation to get a dollar, to become famous, to get likes. So we have to be real about the situation at hand.
But I don't have to suppress something like that because the
No,
scrutiny.
not at all. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, this is such a multi-layered conversation
Yeah.
because it's like if something happened to me, if I know I got some type of terminal situation, I'm probably not gonna tell nobody except like my family. Cause I already know somebody gonna go in on me, Floyd, nigga, like, I just know, cause I got some ignorant ass friends, and they don't mean nothing bad. It's just jokes, but we got a little bit of a thicker skin. You understand what I'm saying? Where I come from, or just how I come up. So I just think that I feel bad that she even going through that, right? Even though I can't stand her for the entanglement stuff and how she did her brother. But I do feel bad for her condition and what she may have to go through, you know what I'm saying? And the less than ideal statements that are being made towards her. But at the same time, like, where do you draw the line?
I guess because what I'm saying is I'm sure she knows the scrutiny is gonna come, but that doesn't she also doesn't know which comment is gonna be more of a trigger than another. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really make a list of 1 to 10 of which comments will be worse than the others. You don't know what mental state you might be in when somebody says something that may not have been as severe for you in your psyche if you was feeling a little better or if it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm sure she knows the scrutiny is coming, but you also don't know what's going to be a particular trigger to push you into a dark space.
Okay. Okay, I'm rolling with
you. See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's just layers to it.
And you have to be strong to even put it out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said, like, when I was using myself as an example, thank God I am who I am, because if I was any less than strong or had high self-esteem, the stuff that I was hearing would have pushed me into a state of depression, because people have strong opinions about everybody else.
Yeah, except for themselves.
They have a big problem about pointing the finger at themselves. But when it comes to you doing something that they feel like is less than ideal, as you say, they got plenty to talk about.
Well, I guess again, it's one's perspective and upbringing. Because you talking to somebody who thought his last name was motherfucker and the first name was variations of it most of my life.
So you're gonna
was talk about each other. So like people say,
but everybody's not gonna handle it that way.
Right, but I understand that. That's why I'm saying, like, from my perspective, I'm looking at it like you are in the public scope. You already understand that there's going to be many perspectives, negative, positive, probably mostly negative. So when you made the decision to come out with your condition, you had to understand that as much as you wanted to be a face and bring attention to it, you have to also know that there was going to be negative attention and negative comments. So somewhere in between that, you can't fully prepare yourself for everything because triggers are triggers.
Right.
But somewhere in there, you had to make a conscious decision to say, I'm going to be strong to an extent to be able to deal with the negativity that I know is going to come my way based on the decision I've made to come out and use my platform to be a voice for this condition. So with that being said, this person cracks a joke that may not have necessarily been towards your condition. He made a clear connection to visual, not conditional. And this triggered her.
No, it didn't trigger her. It triggered Will.
Well, right.
Because we're addressing her and her trigger. Her trigger was to roll her eyes and sit there, but she didn't get up and go slap that man.
This is true.
Will did.
This is true. This is true.
That wasn't her trigger. She was upset about it. She was in her feelings, but that was his trigger.
Right. That's true. And I feel, that's true. I'd have had enough of Lil Jiggy though. I think Lil Jiggy a cornball for that.
So Kool-Aid said, I honestly didn't know she had nothing until today. Black Sheep said Black Panther guy didn't tell because he knows how cruel the world
was. Right. That man was like,
People said he was losing weight. Many jokes. He never said cancer. She had no problem with Regina King entitlement with Will, joke on Will, joke on her, tear up the club.
Right. And they made memes about that. They was like, if somebody had made a joke about Will, she would have been busting up laughing. So I think that's a whole nother conversation because it's obvious that the love he has for her, she does not have for him. But that's another conversation. You dig? Because she's consistently emasculated that brother. So maybe he just got to that, yeah moment, but he should have held that in to himself.
She might just be the one wearing the pants in the relationship.
Yeah, she probably got the swing line.
Black Sheep said she projected Will to tear the club up. Osmosis.
Yeah, you on the road tonight.
Woo.
Woo. Well,
it is what it is.
Everyone who has any type of condition, affliction, special need, anything that you fighting, whether it be mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual, we at GoddeSShips love you. We honor you. We keep you in our prayer. We love you even if we don't know you, motherfucker. But we love y'all, and we hope that you stay strong, and we hope that these shows give you a light to take you away from it at least for a little bit. So God bless y'all. We love y'all, and we are not here to make light of anybody's situation. It's all about perspective and trying to look at the different viewpoints of things so that we can all have a better understanding and hopes to one day all be on the same page. But I don't know if God really wanted us all to be on the same page necessarily, but that's another conversation. Lord.
Do you have one, ma'am?
So actually, I wanted to just cover alopecia a little bit, a little more in depth, other than just us saying hair loss, especially based on the details that Tiff. I mean, I'm glad that she did, because that's someone who actually has it instead of me just reading what I see. And a lot of what she said is part of what I read as far as being more detailed about what the condition is. But I got this from the WebMD, because of course Merriam-Webster wasn't enough. It just was the simple, hair loss. But it says, what is alopecia? I wish Tiff was live so she could pronounce this for me. It says alopecia, and it's spelled Areata. Areata is an autoimmune disorder that causes your hair to come out, often in clumps the size and shape of a quarter. The amount of hair loss is different in everyone. Some people lose it only in a few spots. Others lose a lot. Sometimes hair grows back but falls out again later, and others, hair may possibly grow back for good. There are different types of this condition. Alopecia areata is more common in its main form, but there are other more rare types. So there is alopecia areata totalis, totalis, It means you've lost all the hair on your head. And then alopecia areata universalis is the loss of hair over your entire body. And then there's something called diffuse alopecia areata, and it's a sudden thinning of your hair rather than lost patches. And then there's an ophiasis alopecia areata. It causes hair loss in a band shape around the sides and back of your head. And when you mentioned that line in Jada's, I wonder if that's like that particular thing for her. It says the symptoms are small bald patches on your scalp or other parts of your body. The patches may get larger and grow together into a bald spot. Hair grows back in one spot and falls out in another. You lose a lot of hair over a short time. You have more hair loss in cold weather, or your fingernails and toenails become red, brittle, and pitted.
Quick question while you're reading that. Quick question. Since you looked it up, do it say anything about prevention or slowing down the process?
I think I think I'm gonna end up getting to that.
Okay, go ahead. All right, right
on. The bald patches of skin are smooth with no rash or redness, but you may feel a tingling, itching, or burning sensation on your skin right before the hair falls out. It says causes and risk factors. When you have an autoimmune disease, your immune system attacks your body. With alopecia areata, it's the hair follicles that are attacked. Doctors don't know why it happens, but they think people who get it have something in their genes that makes it more likely. Then something happens to trigger the hair loss. No, then something happens to trigger the hair loss. It says you're more likely to get it if a family member has it, you have asthma, you have Down syndrome, you have pernicious anemia, Perniccious. I don't know how you
Yeah,
pronounce
pernicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it. Seasonal allergies, thyroid disease, or vitiligo.
Oh shit, I got vitiligo.
I was like, wow. If you think you have it, you may want to see a skin specialist called a dermatologist. Some people may not know that. To
Mm-hmm.
talk about your symptoms, to take a close look at the areas where you have hair loss, to pull gently on the hairs at the edges of your bald patch to see if they come out easily, to check individual hairs and follicles to see if they're abnormally shaped, and to examine your nails. It is rare, but sometimes you have to have a biopsy, which means a small piece of skin is removed from your scalp and looked at under a microscope. Many conditions can cause hair loss, so your doctors may test your skin for a fungal infection or give you blood tests to check for thyroid, hormone, or immune system problems. Alopecia treatment. It cannot be cured, but it can be treated and hair can grow back if you have it. There are several things to try.
Mm-hmm.
Um, corticosteroids.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
These are anti-inflammatory drugs that are prescribed for autoimmune diseases. They can be given as an injection into the scalp or other areas. They can also be given as a pill or rubbed on the skin as an ointment, cream, or foam. It says the downside is that it may take a long time to work. Topical immunotherapy. This is used when there's a lot of hair loss or it happens more than once. Chemicals are applied to the scalp to produce an allergic reaction. If it works, this reaction is actually what makes the hair grow back. It also causes an itchy rash and usually has to be repeated several times to keep the new hair growth. Rogaine. This treatment, which is put on the scalp, is already used for pattern baldness. It usually takes about 12 weeks before you see growth, and some users are disappointed in the results.
Yeah,
It says you can read more about what types of alopecia are most likely to respond to it. It says other treatments for alopecia areata include medications that are sometimes used for other autoimmune disorders. These medicines have differing amounts of success in regrowing hair. It says home care. Apart from the medications, there are other things you can try if you have alopecia areata. Wear wigs, hats, or scarves. Cover your hair loss and protect your head from the sun. Reduce stress. Personal troubles seem to trigger alopecia areata. Although this has not been proven scientifically, it says telogen effluvium, effluvium. It's spelled EFFLUVIUM. It's another form of hair loss, and it can also be triggered by stress. It says alopecia areata isn't usually a serious medical condition, but it can cause a lot of anxiety and sadness. There are support groups out there to help you deal with the psychological effects of the condition. If you lose your hair, it could grow back. If it doesn't, there are different ways to cover your hair loss and protect your scalp. If you notice sudden hair loss, always check with a doctor. There can be other reasons for it besides alopecia areata.
I wonder. I'm gonna have to look that up.
So Tiff said that she has allergies and had thyroid cancer and had it removed last year. She had to have a biopsy, which is how she was diagnosed. And she used to get the steroid shots in her scalp to help with the pain. It takes time to help, but with the pricking of the scalp, it makes scar tissue and the
Mm.
hair will not grow back.
So let me ask you.
Thank you for that, Tiffany.
Do they do so? Is like skin grafts a part of treatment? You know how they do like hair transplants and they do the scalp surgeries. Are those options for people with alopecia, or is it because the damage to the follicle that doesn't it's not going to work?
It probably wouldn't. I wouldn't think, because if it's an autoimmune disease, it's still going to attack it again.
Mm-hmm.
But she
Right.
said they can do it.
Okay. Okay, they can do it. Okay, yeah, that's all I was wondering. I was wondering.
She
Huh.
said, but it depends on what type.
Oh, okay. All right. Huh. We learned a
So,
lot today.
I love you, but that is some brief information on alopecia, and we actually thank you, Tiffany, have someone who actually has it that was able to comment it on give us real, life facts about it through her.
Yeah, she said because of the inflammation, she can't.
Wow.
It'll just keep falling out.
Okay.
So for the love of God, please don't take it lightly and think that it's just about the hair loss. I love you, but
But before we go, I just want to say, Tiffany, Izzy, Sharon, Angie, Mike Bizzle, Kool-Aid D. I love y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all twice again. I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
We love y'all too. He ain't the only one.
Right on.
shot time down.
10 toes down. Kool-Aid, you know we are stronger. We are stronger together.
And who was on here? Simone, Lele, Marissa, Karen. I don't know who else was on here. I love y'all. We love y'all. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well,
This
I
is
love
loaded.
everyone who participated, and also those who didn't, that was in the background, that watched but we don't see. Black Sheep, all y'all. Everybody. We love y'all. We like when y'all participate. This is a good show because of the participation.
It was amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. Love y'all. The slap heard around the world.
Slap heard around the world.
I love the comment.
All right. Are all hearts and minds clear?
I think it's some more comment.
Tiffany did that.
Oh, you need soul.
Kool-Aid gave you them fists.
The clenched fist, right on. The clenched fist, you know what it is.
You know.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
All right. Well, that concludes our show for this evening. Thank you all for joining us as we do our best to give you the content you deserve. Feel free to keep the conversation going below, because we do look forward to reading them and we respond. Again, thanks for watching. If you have not, make sure to thumbs up this video, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe, and bang or click that notification bell so that you are made aware when we have new episodes. Erica said it was an excellent, informative show.
My fault, Erica. Love you too. My fault.
See you next week on GoddeSShips on Monday at 9 p.m. because every ship matters.
All ships aren't the same.
And life is lived on ships.
Good night.